Hello and happy new moon, YouTube friends. Okay, looks like I'm going to actually do this. I'm going to do a video a day for this next cycle, new moon to new moon, and we'll see. Some of the videos might be kind of short. Anyway, I know better than to plan ahead, but every day I will show up in some capacity here on this channel and try to like nourish the circle that gets created here. I'm a yoga teacher in real life, and I love nurturing the circle of people that I teach, and I'm going to bring that same energy here. So if you're new here, hello. My name's Holly. Thank you for coming and joining me. And I hope that you'll become a subscriber at some point. But sit back and watch this video and see if uh, if you can vibe with me. So this is my idea for this new moon to new moon cycle. I want to do what several YouTube booktube people did here for me, and that is to inspire me, invigorate me, and nurture me to become a reader again. I mean, not that I ever completely abandoned it, but I am back in the groove, and I love it. And it's such a good antidote to everything I feel about the anxiety, everything about the anxiety that I feel about the current state of everything. Picking up a real book and enjoying what I like to refer to as analog life, using a real dictionary to look up words when I'm reading instead of my phone, and generally just leaning into things that make me feel comfortable in a nostalgic way because I love nostalgia. And so here's my idea. From new moon to new moon, join this challenge with me. Find 10 minutes in your day, and at a time of day when maybe you wouldn't normally read. First of all, just do your best to get to your books and read them. And if you like reading on a Kindle or some other digital device, so be it. But I'm going to encourage you to pick up a real book and feel it in your hands. Um, I wish that I had made note of where I read this, but I read something about the psychology, or maybe it's more of the physiology of what happens when your mind feels you reading a book, and how eventually the pages that you hold in your left hand are more than the pages that you're holding in your right hand. That does something for you. And I can't remember what it was. But anyway, lean in with me and let's deepen our reading selves again. Let's let it be our rebel yell, this an active rebellion against the ever more digital world that we are in now. I mean, I am talking to you through YouTube. And so the irony isn't lost on me, but let's get away from apps and all that stuff. And let's sink into living our life without a screen in our face, even if it's just for an extra few minutes in the day. Okay, so back to my challenge, my new moon to new moon challenge. Let's find 10 minutes, 5 minutes in your day when you wouldn't normally read, and pick up your book and read, even if it's just a couple pages, to keep the momentum going. Because obviously that's part of it, right? Learning how to put a little pocket of time in your day to focus. And part of what was hard for me to get reading again was to redevelop my focus and my attention span. So I just did it myself because I didn't want to come on here without having already succeeded on my first day of finding a time in my day, which for me was just about half an hour ago. So at noon, I sat down with the book that I'm currently reading. I always read a couple of books at a time, but I sat down with my evening read at noon, and I read about 3 pages. And just to keep me engaged in the story that I'm reading, one of the pitfalls I was falling into over the last few years as I wanted to be a reader but wasn't succeeding was that, now I just lost it. Oh, yeah, was that I would read, and then at about page 60, because, or not page 60 necessarily, but 60% of the way into the book, somewhere between 30 and 60% of the way through a book, because I was dragging it out, I would lose interest. And I have books all over my place that are half finished. So that's a whole nother story and maybe another challenge for another moon cycle. But anyway, let's do this. Let's just find a new pocket And it doesn't have to be the same time of day. Like if you commute on the subway or something like that, maybe you commit to reading while you're on the subway instead of looking at your phone. And let's just encourage ourselves in a loving, compassionate way, not from a place of scolding, but from a place of rebuilding a habit that you either had at one point and loved or would like to now nurture in your current life. I am reading, as I told you guys in a video I made a couple of evenings ago, The Weaver and the Witch Queen. And it's kind of poignant that I chose to read those couple of pages before I came to make this video, because the story's just taken a really interesting turn and I feel it hook me. And I think that's maybe my issue before, is I was never letting the stories hook me because I wasn't reading with regularity. I was taking months to read one book. So anyway, this just got a lot more witchy and a lot more mythological. And as I mentioned in my previous video, this author, where's her name? Genevieve Gornichek. She wrote another book called The Witch's Heart that I read earlier this year and I loved, and was a little bit, I thought, a little bit more mythological, but this one just took a turn. And I know it's going to like do a deep dive now into all that, which I love. That's one of my pockets of interest in reading, is witchy stuff and mythological and mystical. So let's let this video be relatively short. So I'll end it in the next couple of minutes. Pick up the book that you want to read or that you are reading and commit to reading a couple extra pages in a day. If those are the only pages you read, so be it. But I'm going to do that. I'm going to commit to finding new pockets in my day to just read a couple of pages. And I bet I'll find that I get through my books a little bit faster. My point is never to read fast. My point is to enjoy the book. But I definitely understand now that that was part of my issue before, was taking too long and losing interest in a book. So for some reason, I'm very inspired by this next moon cycle. I love trying to let my life flow with moon cycles, building new habits as the moon is waxing and letting go of things that aren't serving me anymore as it's waning. So I'm going to bring you along for the ride this time. Everything else is good in my world. I taught what felt to me like a really special, beautiful yoga class this morning. I teach online and in person, and I'm just getting back to in-person teaching now after about 6 months away from it. And it feels really good to be back face to face with people, even though I love my online circle dearly. But the group that joined me this morning had new people. It was sort of like this really fresh new iteration of the circle. And the class is a little bit earlier than I normally teach, and it's getting me up and out earlier. And as a result, I saw the most beautiful sunrise this morning with all kinds of pinks in it. And I used to watch, there was a time in my life when I worked with my dad. My dad passed away just a few days more than 4 years ago. So last week was the 4-year anniversary. And of course, I miss him a lot. And for a few years, we worked together. And I used to force myself to get up and watch the sunset with him on Sunday mornings during that time. And so now, not sunsets, sunrises. I'm not used to watching sunrises. And so seeing this morning's sunrise made me feel connected to my dad in a really special way. And it was a beautiful sunrise. So I'm feeling rather positive, and I will say that it feels really nice to have this sort of breaking open, because I'm coming out of a bit of a valley. I was having a really hard time. I feel like I just came out of this valley a couple days ago, and prior to this, I don't know, the last couple of weeks have been really low, and I've just been affected by everything going on in the world. And um, I'm gonna seek joy, and I'm gonna enjoy myself, and I'm particularly enjoying it through reading. And I hope that this video inspires some of you who have been maybe a little bit on the struggle bus with getting back to reading. I hope it gets you back on board and joining me. So a video a day from now till the next new moon. As I make this video, it's about 12:30 or so on what's today's date? Tuesday, October 21st. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Thanks for popping in. And please do leave me a comment. I love connecting. All right. See you next time. Bye for now.